Okay, MGTOW, this is part 2 of the liberation video that I started yesterday. And so where did we leave off, right? I was talking that, about the fact that I've been in a more urban setting lately, and that I've been coming into contact with more women, and this, in a sense, makes it a little bit more of a challenge to kind of go your own way, because you're interacting more with the members of the opposite sex. But like I said before, it's all a matter of control. It's a matter of controlling yourself, right? Because the temptation is always going to be there. And so I met another woman, right? And this is where I left off. I was saying that for the most part, people consider me a handsome guy, and I never had a problem, a serious problem anyways, picking up women. It was always, the challenge of, picking the one that I like the most. But even then, that wasn't always the case. But lately, I met another woman that was talking to me about, how Hispanics were womanizers, right? And how I look like a kind of guy that would have lots of women, or this and that and the other. And in my youth, I did see myself as the quintessential Latin lover, right? We Hispanic men were infamous for that. And in her mind, she might have seen that as a challenge, right? As an adventure, as something to be pursued, right? But right away, I turned it off. Right? I said no, in my youth, I used to do that, but now I'm undesired by most women. And so that kind of shut it off, which is what I wanted to do, right? But you got a lot of guys here in the MGTOW community. Well, a couple of guys, not a lot of guys. You got a couple of guys, a couple of content producers that should know better, right? And instead they're preaching this, this hard to get mantra, right? They're saying, play hard to get. They're saying, show her that you have options. Show her that you have options. Now, why the hell would you want to just spend your time showing some bimbo that you have options? For what? In fact, I should say waste your time. Why would you want to waste your time doing that? So the line here shouldn't be too blurry. Either you worship women or you don't, right? Either you're MGTOW or you're not. So all this playing hard to get and showing her that you have options and all this and all that, what for? What for? What are you really focused on? I mean, you have to think about that. What are you really focused on? What do you really want, right? You're better off being honest with yourself. Do you want to pursue women? Then go ahead and join the PUAs. There's some good ones out there, Or do you want to be a MGTOW and a MGTOW monk, right? Then you got to make up your mind at some point. You can't vacillate between one thing and the other and expect to have outstanding results in any field. So that's where we stand with some of these guys. Then of course they're I have to wonder what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do after they finish tarnishing the MGTOW name? The acronym. What are they gonna do when their weak followers, right? The guys that are hungry, thirsty for vagina, right? What are they gonna do when they discover that that they've been a fraud all their lives, right? That they're following the wrong guy, that they're following a lie, that the promise of being seductive is just not materializing under the name of MGTOW. This philosophy is not It's not. It was never meant to make men attractive to the opposite sex. I mean, I know I've said this in a couple of videos before, but you know, for whatever reason, some guys, they don't want to believe that that's the case. But that's just what it is. MGTOW is about walking away, and as harsh as that sounds, that is the truth that a lot of people don't want to, you know, they don't want to accept. You know, men and women, they don't want to accept that. You know, women don't want to accept that they're being rejected. They don't want to accept that their, you know, that their coffers are gonna dry up once their slaves go away, right? Once they find freedom in the open skies. And so I think they're gonna move on. You know, I think these guys are gonna move on, and just like they, you know, they came from the PUAs, and before that they came from other fields, right? They're gonna move on, and they're gonna cater to this new wave of thirsty men that were raised by single mothers, that have no idea what it's like to really value yourself as a man. Because they've been treated as though they are subhuman for most of their lives. And you know, I'm sorry to say that's the case, but that's the reality, and I wish that wasn't the case. I'm not saying this to throw any men you know, down on the floor, you know, to put them below me or anybody else. It's just that some of these guys, they don't realize that they've been done, you know, a great disservice, and that they have to begin to see life a little bit different, right? Begin to see life, you know, with the possibility that they may end up just working for themselves. And I don't mean this in a traditional, you know, work for yourself setting, like a financial workplace kind of deal, but you know, work so as to generate resources for your own benefit and for your own enjoyment. And you know, they keep going. These guys keep going. They just say, you know, I'm talking about now I'm talking about the content producers, right? They say that you shouldn't be a nice guy. Some of them say that you should act confident, that you should be confident, right? And confidence improves after you made a ton of mistakes and you get to know a system inside and out, right? If you know, in any area of life, you move into it, right? And you know, you're gonna trip over your dick, right? But as you begin learning, you know, what it's all about, and you made a lot of mistakes, and some people did you wrong and whatnot, eventually, you know, you'll become confident, because you made enough mistakes that you already know what not to do. You see? Now there are some areas where, you know, you need training, because making mistakes will be too costly. So you know, in those settings, there are always people to train you, right? You know, such as in the theater of war, right? There's no such thing as a second place in war. You either win or you lose, and that's why it's very important for people to have training in that setting. But even then, you know, there's a certain degree of confidence that comes with experience, right? And so that's where confidence comes from, right? It comes from having made mistakes, you know, and having overcome those mistakes, and in the process, you got to familiarize yourself with the system that surrounds you, right? And the environment in which you're operating. So you won't be confident with women unless you you know, get close to them, right? And you interact with them. But the beauty of the MGTOW philosophy is that it sheds light on the fact that, you know, as you know, the women are kind of unlike other things, in the sense that, you know, say for example, you begin learning about video games, right? You know, the more you learn about video games, you know, the history of video games, how they came to be, how they're programmed, you know, what sort of people play different games, the most popular ones, how they're marketed, you know, the benefits and the pitfalls, the pros and cons of, you know, what people say about, you know, playing and watching other people play video games and so forth and so on. You'll tend to to start liking the subject a little bit better. But women are somewhat different, because the more you learn about them, you know, and you discover that they're not what you expected them to be. Kind of like the less you like them, you know. And so in that sense, that's, you know, that's what the MGTOW philosophy opens up men's eyes, and you know, and shows them that reality, right? The red pill reality, the reality of waking up and discovering that that you're being on the wrong side of things all this time. These guys also talk about, you know, the philosophy being a numbers game, right? That if you talk to 100 women, you know, you take one home, and blah blah blah, and this and that and the other. And this is not MGTOW content at all. It's not MGTOW content, and it's a shame that some of the biggest quote-unquote MGTOW content producers are doing this. They're saying things like that out there, you know, that some guy came across a woman and they're having a great time, it's a wonderful relationship, and but for some reason, you know, she cheated on him or whatever. That's just not MGTOW. And in my opinion, these guys are fighting an uphill battle. You know, these MGTOW content producers, they're fighting an uphill battle. And they're fighting an uphill battle because they assert, without a shadow of a doubt, that men need women, that we need them for sex. And as I just mentioned, this game is about controlling your sexuality. It's about controlling your emotions, right? Not just your sexuality, but, you know, the emotions that come over to you as a gorgeous woman presents herself in front of you, right? Makes her presence known, right? And when she starts playing all the games that they play, right? Are you going to let your chest kind of cave in a little bit? Are you gonna let that feeling of, you know, of letting yourself go? Are you gonna let that take over you, or are you gonna remain strong and tell yourself, you know, I'm in control here, and I'm not gonna allow this to happen to me, and I'm gonna continue being a MGTOW monk because of all the peace and the benefits that it has brought me so far, the strength that it gives me, the freedom that it has given me. That's what it's all about. It's about controlling your emotions, right? Because we're so, as men, we are so, and myself included, right? We are so willing to just you know, ease up on things. You know, when someone that we like is in front of us, we are so willing to be forgiving of the red flags and the mistakes and all, you know, to overlook all that stuff that is just right in front of us, but, you know, our emotions, right? And the things that we tell ourselves, wow, she's so beautiful, you know, she's gorgeous, I'm kind of wishing that, you know, that I could just touch her and hold her and hug her and this and that. You know, we have to let that go, and we have to remain stoic. That's the moment in which we remain stoic as MGTOW monks and as MGTOW, and we say no. We say, I'm gonna put this all aside, and in the process of overcoming these emotions of, you know, this lust that I feel for this woman, I'm going to become stronger. And I'm going to become stronger, not just physically, not just emotionally, but physically as well. And that is the reason why not masturbating is so important. I've already put a video out regarding masturbation and the damage that it does to a man, how it drains you of your nutrients, and how it weakens your psychology. So it's not a matter of discharging yourself so that you can free yourself from her control. It's a matter of not needing that discharge. And it's a matter of not needing the company that these women pretend to want to provide us with. It's a matter of self-control, discipline, strength, inner strength. And this here is a channel for monks. This is a channel for monks and those who want to be monks. And it's a channel for serious MGTOWs. I'm not out, selling pipe dream that the pipe dream that if women become what you want them to be and you change yourself, that somehow it will all work out. I'm not out here selling any of that. I'm beyond all that, and I hope that some of you out here, I know that not all of you will follow this path, because it's a hard path to follow, but I know that some of you will. Some of you will make the change. Some of you will come to realize that all the other efforts are futile, and that you've wasted a lot of time. You've spent a lot of time in vain for women, right? So some of you guys already have the justification for walking away. I mean, you see what a mess it all is, right? And you've stayed MGTOW for a while, or you've been a monk for a while, and you know that that is a lifestyle that brings a ton of benefits, right? Benefits that are not always measurable. They're not always tangible, but they're benefits nevertheless, right? And some benefits are tangible, right? I mean, you look at your bank account and it just grows and grows for the first time in your life, and you realize that, wow, it's never been like this. I have options in life. I see life different because of it, right? So my aim here is to put all these in a structure, right? To put all of these observations, right, into a structure that's easily absorbable, to those men who wish to be free. MGTOW is about the liberation of men, the liberation of men's minds, as MGTOW Infinium says. And so I hope you follow this path, and I'm confident that that's what you want to do. Otherwise, you would not have made it this far. I thank you for watching, and stay aware, stay alert, because there are always, lurking in the background, lurking in the shadows, those who will sell you out. They will sell you out by selling you some sort of pipe dream. And the idea that you can just have sex and walk away for free, right? So again, it's been a pleasure. I hope to bring that story that I promised you soon. And until next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.